This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Another Saturday morning with the W Show. However you're watching us, 100.1 FM, or listening to us on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, watching us Facebook Live or any of our other social media platforms. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for hanging out with us each and every Saturday morning. No, it's just me and you this morning, man, hanging out on this October 31st, Halloween, man. How was your week?
It was good, man. It was actually quite good. You know, got some work done. Wasn't too fond of being surprised by the winter wonderland that we had to go through. What was that? Was that Monday?
Sunday, yeah, Sunday going into Monday, man. It's the temperature actually has been like up and down, right? I mean,
it's been quite crazy.
Yeah, man. You know, it like you said, it's crazy because there hasn't really been a fall. Like I think what tomorrow or tonight is fall back, so you turn the clock back. I think so, but it just doesn't seem that way. And I think we've been spoiled the last couple of years, man. Just I remember going back to we talked about this on the during our weekly meeting, man. November. Remember the Royals parade? And it was like 70 degrees, but it was November.
I remember I was in school and everybody except me skipped school to go to that, and it was like a beautiful day. I remember that day. And so like now is I really don't even know what to expect at this point, because now it's 70 and it's supposed to be 70 the rest of the week. And I'm like ecstatic going into November, but
it is, man, and people get surprised just because when it snows, it's like, yeah, man, it's snowing outside. I'm like, did you think that it wasn't supposed to be snowing?
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, since I've been here, I haven't been able to call it. I haven't been able to get a handle on it, except for that January, like that killer cold weather in January. Yeah. I do know that's coming. So
yeah. All right, well, let's get into today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
We talked about snow and the weather. Well, the Chiefs went out to Denver last Sunday and had their first snow game of the season. According to quarterback Patrick Mahomes, he's the snow game guy. So the Chiefs put up an absolute clinic. They put on a clinic last week, man. Defeating the Broncos 43-16, extending their win streak over the Broncos to 10 games straight. Noah, when you watched that game, what stood out to you the most?
What really stood out to me the most is when you watch good teams, they can beat you in a whole lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a trademark of a really dominant football team, is that they can beat you in many ways. Patrick Mahomes didn't have his best game. He didn't throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. But you saw a kickoff return touchdown. You saw a pick six touchdown. You saw a pretty balanced running attack. Like nobody really stood out, but both running backs, Hilaire and our new addition, they definitely they came to, they controlled the clock. You even saw a rushing touchdown from a backup quarterback. So it was just overall domination. I mean, obviously we know the Denver Broncos, they aren't very good this year, but it's another trademark of good teams is, putting away, bad teams quickly. And you could tell the Chiefs had a handle on that game from the very start. So like that, I mean, it's just another day at the office, it seems like, for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Chiefs scoring, and they were able to do that in all three phases of the game. They had the Dan Sorensen, Dirty Dan, the pick six, the Byron Pringle kick return, and of course they scored on the offensive side of the ball. And the good thing about that, and Andy Reid talked about it earlier this week in his press conference. He said when a team was able to score in all three phases of the game like they did, it can lead to a successful season and get to, you know, he said, without saying getting to the Super Bowl, but he said lead to a successful season and what they want to do. So it just goes to show you. I had high expectations for Denver quarterback Drew Lock in this game. I mean, he's from Kansas City. Of course, he went to Lee Summit High School, and it seems as though once again another one of these young guys who is going to have to take the back seat to Patrick Mahomes and be that little brother.
Yeah, no, it's Patrick has raised the bar quite high for quarterbacking across the board, whether we're talking veterans, second-year players, rookies. Doesn't really matter. He set the standard, and Drew Lock's got a long way to go as far as, you know, meeting a level that is the Patrick Mahomes. Because I mean, the Chiefs' defense is pretty good. They balled last week, and he wasn't able to get a rhythm. He wasn't able to, you know, control any facet of the passing game. It's just kind of it was just kind of tough on him all day. And, you know, everybody knows when you play football in the snow, like, it's very tough to get a rhythm throwing that ball. It's a lot of running. It's a lot of in the trenches. That's where the game was won. But the Chiefs managed to turn that into a pretty win, honestly. When you look at the optics of it, I mean, when you score in all three facets and you get, you know, multiple picks, like the Chiefs turned, you know, what was a pretty average game from Patrick Mahomes into like I said, a really pretty win.
And that's the thing. And Patrick, he's been asked about this, I believe, every week, anytime he's at the podium. Just his ability to now not try to always go for the home run play. He's able to, you know, check down. He's able to take what the defense is giving him. And fans, you know, Chiefs fans have to agree and they have to like this about Patrick because it just shows his growth and shows his maturity. The simple fact that he's not gonna try to reach and get more than he has to. He's just gonna take what the defense is giving him. And if they were losing, it'd be one thing, but they're winning. So I mean, you're not gonna see the, you know, 350 passing yards, the behind the left hand sidearm throws and no looks and things like that anymore. You're just not. So it is what it is. I mean, they're still winning, and they're hoping to get a win tomorrow as they face the New York Jets as they come into Arrowhead, and the winless Jets, I should say.
Coming in pretty wounded. This is another one of those games where the Chiefs are, I mean, heavily favored. There's no really other way to cut it. I mean, the Jets, they don't have the weapons. Their quarterback has been gotten roughed up past couple weeks. The defense isn't looking too their defense isn't like bad, but I mean, stopping a Patrick Mahomes led offense, you have to be on your P's and Q's. And the Jets they're just coming in like they're just not a good football team right now. And the Chiefs are running on all cylinders. So I'm honestly not expecting too much from this game.
Really?
Yeah. I expect the Chiefs to come out and just go ahead and put them to bed real early. Le'Veon Bell is definitely going to be motivated to be playing his former team. So you might see Andy get him the ball 10 to 15 times just to, ramp up his touches, see what he can do, because he'll definitely be motivated to, show the Jets what they're missing.
And some people are calling this a trap game. Some people, even Chris Jones. Chris Jones said some words this week that got the Jets' attention. Chris said that's a very good football team. People forget because they haven't won a game. I agree. It's still any given Sunday. right? I mean, they're still professional athletes. I mean, they just haven't been able to put together a win, so to speak. But you know, they're still going to try to come out there and win this game. There's been some hype, and you mentioned it, of Le'Veon facing his old team, the team that cut him, and how impactful that'll be tomorrow. And one thing I love about Andy Reid is whenever guys face their old team and he's coaching, he allows them to shine.
For sure. No, that's that's the offensive genius that is Andy Reid. He picks up on little stuff like that. And I think other coaches, I mean, they may not ignore, they know it's there, but they may not put an emphasis on it. And Andy, like I said, he's an offensive genius, and he'll find a way to get Le'Veon the ball, and he'll find a way to get Le'Veon in the end zone. So that like I said, I think this is a game where the Chiefs can actually, continue to work on their running game, their two-headed running attack, and get those guys a lot more carries. Because right now, I mean, obviously the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. They're on track to make the playoffs. They're already at 6 wins. We're 7 weeks in. So now I think it's kind of like we're trying to hone our attack, make it more balanced. So when the time comes that we come in January, we're not putting it all on Patrick Mahomes' back, because I mean, although we know he can carry us through the playoffs, bring us back from any deficit, you don't want to just put that pressure on your quarterback all the time. Sometimes you just need that running attack to offset. And I think this will be a good game. I mean, I'm not saying the Chiefs shouldn't try to absolutely kill him, but I do think that this would be a good game to like work on your Andy Reid should definitely work on the running attack.
And you mentioned the running attack, and that's been the focal point, I think, the past 2 weeks. And the reason I say that is because it's and we talked about it, Patrick Mahomes, just they're taking what the defense is giving them. They're playing deep. Even coming into this season, defenses were they were playing the pass. And it's understandable, right? I mean, you really don't know what you're going to get from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You just didn't. I mean, Damian Williams chose to opt out. You still had two other young guys in Darren Williams and also Darwin Thompson, but you really didn't know what you were going to get from the Chiefs running games. And I said this at the beginning of the season. I'm like, hey, if I was a defensive coordinator on an opposing team, I would just play the pass, don't let anybody beat us deep, and make them beat us with the run. And that's what teams did. And so now when you look at Clyde's success that he's had over the past 2 weeks, I mean, even in the first game, but he fell off in games 2 and 3. But the last couple of weeks, Clyde has been stellar. And then with the addition of Le'Veon, it's like now, okay, teams can't just play the pass. And Tyreek Hill said it in his press conference yesterday. It's like they at some point they're going to have to play one-on-one, and then that's when we're going to be successful with the passing game, and it's going to open up more things.
Yeah, when he brings up one-on-one, there is no one-on-one. When you have a quarterback that can, that has the accuracy of, I mean, I don't even know a quarterback to compare him to, but he has pinpoint accuracy. He knows where to put the ball. He knows how to lead his man into the ball. And so there's no one-on-one when you have dynamic, wide receivers and tight ends that can get open. So when you couple that with that, it's pretty much impossible to stop the Chiefs offense when they're humming. So when it comes to this game, I think this is just one of those where they are going to come out, and they're champions. They are going to come out and put them to rest pretty early, and then just kind of coast into the win.
And the win is what they're trying to do. And another place they're trying to go is the Super Bowl. But the NFL made some announcements earlier this week about the Super Bowl 55, and they said that they're planning to host 20% capacity at Super Bowl 55, and that means that the Super Bowl 55 there will be around 13,000 fans in attendance inside of Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. So according to NFL reporter Adam Schefter, he said that fans who attend the Super Bowl will be in pods 6 feet apart, and will also be required to wear masks.
And quite interesting. Again, this is just the NFL trying to recoup as much as they possibly can. But I mean, it does kind of stink that, what's going on right now is going on because the Super Bowl is supposed to be a great experience. Part of the reason the game is so hyped is because it's so many, people there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a big old event. And with COVID going on and, cutting all of this down to the 20%, which is, I mean, if my numbers were correct, it's 13,000 people in the stadium.
Right.
It's just, I mean, I'm glad that they put the precautions on there because I don't even, as far as this year goes for football games, there aren't many precautions for fans attending the games like that. Like there's no pods. And I don't believe masks are required or mask required.
So at Arrowhead, you have to purchase tickets in pods. If those people stay in the pods, we don't know. But they do make you wear masks. They make you purchase tickets in pods. So I mean, once people purchase those tickets, though, they can still go on the secondary market, right? I mean, people can still buy them and then resell them. So. If you're buying them in fours and you splitting two up, I mean 2 and 2, then two people that you don't know you could be sitting next to. So there it is, and we really haven't heard any negative things coming from fans attending football games. We really haven't, and we haven't even heard it in baseball, and also when families were able to go to the basketball games. So I mean, I think they're still under trial and error, and I think at that point, what is that? That's still a couple months away. So I mean, hopefully things lighten up a little bit, but I don't really think so.
I don't foresee it stopping anytime soon as far as the spread of COVID goes. So it's kind of like everybody's just playing by ear. I mean, even still, like you have college seasons that haven't even started and don't know when they're going to start just because of COVID. And so the NFL, they just came up there. They just, like I said, they want to recoup. They don't want to lose the amount of money that say an NBA lost by what happened with COVID. So they're just trying to, get ahead of it. Hopefully it works out, but you never know.
Right. And you mentioned the NBA trying to save money. So Kansas City makes their pitch to be the temporary home for the Toronto Raptors. So on Tuesday, Senators Pat Roberts and Jerry Morgan, as well as other elected officials in the Kansas City area, signed off on a letter urging the NBA to move the Toronto Raptors to Kansas City, Missouri for the upcoming season. So the NBA may move the Raptors to the United States for one season to avoid COVID-19 travel restrictions. So currently, and I don't know if you heard this, no, but in Canada, they require a 14-day quarantine for anyone entering the country. So the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City sent a formal statement as well to the NBA saying that it'd be willing to host the Raptors.
Mm-hmm. That would be really dope for the city of Kansas City. And I say it all the time. Patrick Mahomes is going to bring an NBA team to Kansas City. And
you have been saying that.
He said it himself. He tweeted it. He said, "Yeah, come on, bring them on down here. Like, just this is where it should be." There are a myriad of cities that have been homes to NBA teams in the past that I feel like would vie for this spot. But I think Kansas City, Kansas City is one. They used to have Kansas City Kings used to be an NBA team that was that used to play in the NBA. So I think it'll be dope. I think it'll happen anyway, but I would love for it to happen next year. It would be big. It would be big for us. Like we would definitely benefit from that. So hopefully Kansas City does what it needs to do to get the team down here. So
and one of the guys that plays on the Toronto Raptors is from right down the road in Jefferson City, and that's OG Anunoby. And so I got to know OG as of course we host the State Line Showdown, Missouri versus Kansas High School All-Star Weekend. And OG played in that game senior year back in 2015. So I know he and his family are hoping that they're able to, because this is right in his backyard. A lot of people that grew up watching him at Jefferson City High School would, love to see him play in a game, at right down the road from where they're from.
Mm-hmm. And you got Fred VanVleet, who played at Wichita State,
Mm-hmm.
right down the road. So yeah, just a couple guys from the Midwest that's on the team. They would love to. I mean, Serge Ibaka, he played for OKC. That's not too far away. So it's, some guys with ties to the Midwest. So I hope it happens. I for one hope it happens for sure, because I would love to, have an NBA team here to cover.
Now, looking at football, we've seen some the effects of COVID-19 on all levels, right? I mean, professional sports, also college. And then recently in the Kansas City area, some of the high school football teams have been forced to cancel the remaining games in their season due to a COVID-19 outbreak. So Rockhurst, Lee Summit North, and the latest being Oak Park High School, they have all had to cancel for the rest of the season due to a player on each team having tested positive for COVID. And this is right before the football playoffs. So, let me ask you this, Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have rather played the season? Would you have rather not play the season or play the season and it be cut short?
Honestly, I would have. It's a tough question for me because, being a competitor, you want to play as much as you because as much as possible, just because that ball is going to stop bouncing one day, and then you're going to be like, dang, I really wish I could have played those games that built, that camaraderie with my teammates. But on the other hand, it's like, why would you start me up, get me going? I'm in, mid-season form, and just to cut me off. Nobody wants to go through that. And it honestly stinks for those kids. It stinks for some seniors that got looks. Maybe they're not, the 5-4-star prospects, but that they really needed that back half of the season to, have college coaches looking at them. So, that stinks. You got teams that have played really well, and think we're hoping for a chance to get to state.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, oh man, well, this is it. We got to cut it off. So it stinks. It stinks all the way around. I guess if I had to choose, I would rather just not play at all.
What?
I'll dedicate my season to, getting my studies in order and just training for the, my next step. So.
And to answer that question for myself, I would rather play, because when you look at it, there were so many teams. And when we talked to Washington High School, if you remember back at the beginning of the season, we talked to Washington High School head coach, and he just talked about how his seniors felt, that they weren't able to, because sometimes there are kids that are, needing that last bit of film, send out to coaches, said, hey, I can play this game. I've worked my junior year going into my senior year. I worked hard over that summer, and some kids grow, can go from 215 to 225 and put on that 10 pounds of muscle. And now they're out there looking elite. And you have college coaches that say, hey, we've sent you letters. We want to see you play your senior year. And so I think it was good for those kids to be able to get out there and play. And I would myself want to get out there and show the talent that I have, at least, to put some film out there if I'm not getting the looks that other guys that sign early get.
Correct.
All right, we're moving on. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we're going to talk Los Angeles Dollars winning the World Series. We'll be right back on the W.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
No one picks up a ball wanting to change the world. They want to escape it.
Unemployment, a crisis. Everything is not how it should be.
They want to become part of something. That something could take them anywhere. They could make a friend, make the team, or make the league. They could break a record in Seattle, break some ankles in Brooklyn, or make a believer in San Juan. They could become a star, a superstar. A big donation, start a foundation, unite the nation star. They really could change the world.
We don't have a ceiling on how much we can improve our community.
But we don't have to wait until then. We can do it right now with a choice.
Go out and vote.
It starts with us as voters.
And getting out and voting.
Use your voice.
Voting is power.
To make a difference.
Right now, it's what's necessary.
Because you don't need to be a star to have a voice.
To the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Back in on the W, whether you're watching us on one of our social media live streams or listening to us 100.1 FM, we appreciate it. No, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They won the World Series for the first title since 1988. The Dodgers had a 3-1 victory over the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 6 on Tuesday night. And honestly, I thought this game should have went to 7 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of thought the Rays were going to put up, a little bit better of a fight, but in the end, the Dodgers ended up being the superior team. They had, the best player in the series in my mind, Mookie Betts. Baseball is a tricky sport to kind of, it's a tricky sport. It's not like a basketball or football where it's typically like you can pinpoint like, hey, like they have these key players, so they're definitely going to win.
Right.
Baseball is a team effort. You have to have a great bullpen. You have to have a solid starting rotation. You have to have good defensive players, and then you just kind of have to have. It's just a whole team effort, and you kind of saw that with the Los Angeles Dodgers taking their 4-2 series win over the Rays. So congrats to them. LA going up right now.
And I thought it was going to go to 7 games, man. I mean, you had Tampa Bay Rays manager Kevin Cash. He said that he regretted the outcome more than the decision to pull starter Blake Snell, which he was at the top of his game, after a 5 1/3 scoreless innings in Game 6. And at that point, I don't think you pull Snell. In a game like that, I mean, he's rocking. He's if you remember, the Rays at that time were leading 1-0, and Snell was throwing arguably his best game of the season. I mean, he struck out 9 Dodgers hitting hitters while he giving up just 2 hits. And so they bring in reliever Nick Anderson, who gave up a double and then a game-tying wild pitch and an RBI ground out, putting the Rays behind in the game for the first time, 2-1, and the rest was history.
Yeah, no, it was over with. You like you said, you can't just take out your one of your best starters when he's balling. Like you kind of have to keep him in the game, even if he's been. I mean, I don't think he was on a pitch restriction or anything like that, was he? It was just
and at that point, it's an elimination game. No, you can't.
Exactly.
There's no way you put him on any kind of pitch restriction. Hey, you know what? We'll worry about everything else next year. We need you until you show us that you're getting tired. He did not show that at all.
No fatigue at all, especially in only 5 1/3 innings. You strike out 9 batters. That shows to me that only 2 hits. That shows to me that you're balling. You leave them in for, I would say, 7 innings. Like you need a solid 7 innings because then you can put your middle reliever in for the 8th, and then you can throw your closer. And that's typically how how managers would want a game to work. You don't want to overwork your starter, but you do want a solid 7 innings out of him if he's only given up, 2 hits through 5 1/3. So, that was definitely a crucial mistake. You can't. I mean, it's a decision because, you know, he's obviously a manager. He's managed plenty of games before, but that's one of those crucial ones where you wish you had back.
And you just talk about your ace, right? I mean, and I go back to, I always try to go back to the Royals 2015, their run that they had, man. And of course, James Shields. I mean, they had Cueto, then, you know, Wade Davis, all those guys that were in the bullpen were always ready at a moment's notice.
Mm-hmm.
And that your ace, if you pitch him, let's just say you pitch him game 2,
Mm-hmm.
or even game 1, he's going to get everything, you know, rolling for you, and then he's going to tell you, hey, if we get into a situation where we're in game 6 or an elimination game or even game 7 where we need to win, hey, I'm gonna be ready to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and we've also seen it to where, you know, you've had your ace. Hey, man, throw me in right after the regular starter. Like I can get an inning in here. I can get us 3 outs. And it's not gonna throw me off too bad. So yeah, you just, I mean, when you have aces, you have to, and we're talking about the World Series, like we're not talking about game 101, or we're talking about World Series. Like you have to use your ace in a myriad of ways. Because if he's a good enough pitcher to where he can pitch that crucial 7th inning that you may need because your starter went out early, you use him. And in this case, the manager didn't really use him. So.
Yeah, and I think Kevin Cash, the manager, he was more or less, you know, looking at the numbers, looking at the analytics. Okay, well, he's saying, you know, Blake Snell, he hasn't thrown more than six innings this season. You know, we're not gonna try to push it, but like you said, I mean, it's the World Series, man. You got to go all out. It's now or never, and so you got to make sure you kick them in the game. But that wasn't even the biggest story that came out of this World Series, man. And the Dodgers winning wasn't even the big story. So it was reported that Dodgers third baseman Justin Turner, who tested positive for COVID-19, refused to stay off the field after the Dodgers win. So the Dodgers had pulled Turner from the game when they learned of his positive test before the 8th inning, and he came back onto the field during the post-game celebration. He was seen kissing his wife, holding the World Series trophy, and hugging and talking to teammates, sometimes with the mask on, sometimes without. And not only that, he took his place down center for a team photograph, sitting between manager Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman. The Dodgers president of baseball operations, none of them said anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's another one of those tough ones, because it's like, what are you going to tell a guy who just won the World Series? Hey, stay in the locker room. And actually, when we go in the locker room, you can't be there because, you know, you tested positive. We can't. I mean, obviously, you need him to use better judgment, but it's just kind of like, man, I just won the World Series. Like, I want to celebrate. I want to be with my teammates. I want to, you know, hug my wife. I want to touch the World Series trophy. And it's just kind of like, wow, man, I understand like why he was out there. I wish he wasn't, but yeah, man, that's a tough one to get around, man. You got to kind of maybe chill out.
Yeah, and there hasn't been any reports yet of any of the other Dodgers testing positive or anything like that. But man, it's a tough one. And just to try to put yourself in that situation, you know, it would be tough not to go out there, and because they put him in like an isolation, you know, in the clubhouse, and so, you know, it'd be a tough one, man. And you know, hopefully everything turns out to be okay. But at the end of the day, you know, what can you say?
No, not much.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. Coming up, we have our Hate It or Love It segment. We're going to see our sneakers of the week and what's going on down in at Jackson State. Deion Sanders already dealing with NCAA sanctions. We'll be right back. The W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Halls is like family. They have been there for all of my milestone moments. Holiday shopping with my grandmother, and all of the moments that have mattered most. My high school graduation, my college graduation, and my first job interview. So it's only right for this to come full circle and go back to where it all started. Pause.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Back in on the W show on this Halloween, October 31st. No, what you been for Halloween this year, man?
Still working on that. Still working on that.
See what you gotta do, man. You just go get you a little mask. And you just put your mask on, man, and then there you have it.
There it is. It's that simple.
It's that simple, man.
I've always wanted to be like a serial killer for Halloween. Like I've always wanted to be like a Michael Myers or a Scream or what's the guy from the Crystal Lake? What is he?
Freddy?
Jason. Yeah, I always wanted to be one of those guys. I never could get the costume that like actually worked, but I always wanted to do that. So next year, maybe.
You know what we should all do? Just dress up as Purge. I know it's been done before, but you know those are some of the coolest costumes that I've seen. Also, one costume I saw, and this was a number of years ago, where it was a group of guys that got together and they ordered like these real looking like Ninja Turtle costumes. Like it was real foam. They were pretty dope, man. And they all walked around. They had Master Splinter and Shredder, and it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. No, I think I was not Donatello. I think I was Michelangelo one year as a kid.
Oh yeah,
sure I was. Yeah, I was.
All right, let's get into our Hater Love It segment.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
All right, Darren said he wanted to be the Freddy Krueger costume. Just go get you the. I think Luther was the Freddy Krueger one year. He had the big hat and the little hand and the sweater and all that.
Oh yeah, no, Freddy Krueger is a good one.
All right, man. Deion Sanders. He's in the news again. So he's not even fully on the job yet, but Deion is already dealing with NCAA sanctions. Jackson State, hate it or love it.
I mean, you hate it just because, he just got there. Obviously he didn't do it. This has nothing to do with, him. This happened before his tenure. But, it's just kind of, you hate it because, the school gets fined. They lose a couple scholarships. Other sanctions come down, but it's just kind of like it's bad optics. Mm-hmm. It just kind of feels like the NCAA is picking on them. Because when have you ever heard of the NCAA coming down on FCS?
HBCU, yeah.
Like you never come down on those Division 1A programs or Division 1AA programs. You never heard them come down on them. So like for that to happen is kind of like wow, like. What a coincidence. But I'm sure Deion will be able to, get around that and he'll have a successful season.
And so on Friday, the NCAA announced that Jackson State has been hit with a number of sanctions as punishment for NCAA certification and recruiting violations. So the violations all stem back to a previous regime. And in one case, 34 athletes were allowed to practice and compete before they were officially certified to do so. So in another form, a staff member gave $300 to the grandmother of a football recruit. The same staff member also arranged for a tutor to assist a prospective transfer to meet eligibility standards. So as a result, in addition to 2 years probation and a $5,000 fine for the department, Jackson State football has been hit with the following sanctions. So the football program must serve a 1-week ban on unofficial visits in each of January, February, March, and April of 2021. A reduction of 4 football official paid visits during 2021-22 academic year, and the football team must serve a 1-week ban of all recruiting communication contacts and off-campus recruiting by the entire football staff, which, I mean, it's all a slap on the wrist, but they shouldn't have to do any of that, man, especially if it's another regime.
This is all stuff that I started out at a D2. This is all stuff that happens on the regular.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, so it's just kind of like another one of those things where like the NCAA is just kind of like trying to, throw the book at some of these schools, and they're like, they're the ones that actually are. It's just kind of it. I'm just, at this point, I've just kind of had enough of the NCAA. I'm glad that California, they're trying to, change it around, get it right. NCAA just keeps shooting itself in the foot, trying to look, superior and holier than thou.
Exactly. That's all it
is. It sucks. Deion is trying to, build a program there, and they're anyway, yeah. I'm soapbox on that.
Let's look at our sneakers of the week, man. So up first, the Off-White Jordan 5s. What do you think about those?
I think they're pretty cool. I mean, the Off-White collab that they've been doing, for quite, probably about two or 3 years, I believe right now. It's it's been a bunch of hits, but a couple misses. I think this one is a hit though.
Yeah. This Slam Jam Nike Dunk Highs. We think about those. I'm really feeling these, man.
Yeah, I kind of wouldn't. I wonder like who is Slam Jam? Are they like I wonder who they are, because that's a cool sneaker. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like the translucent bottom.
So Slam Jam is they're a clothing brand. And they promote clothing and goods that represent urban subculture attitudes. And have footwear, accessories, sneakers, all kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, that's a dope collab right there.
Yeah, and Nike always sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss on these collabs, and this one's definitely a hit. Yeah. So the Ivy Park Beyonce collab. Are you feeling these? I know we talked about these last week too in our meeting, man. But what are your thoughts on these?
I mean, they obviously, since my kind of transfers over to the Adidas side of things, I've been, I've had to, get more Adidas shoes, and so of course I'm looking at the Ultra Boost there. Those are the ones that jumped out to me the most. Obviously, out of the collection, I mean, they're the brightest color. Ultra Boost are like a great shoe. I've worn them for years. But I mean, the night joggers, those are cool too. And I'm looking at these. I believe they're Gazelles that are in the front with the white and the gum bottom. So I mean, I like them. I like them all. I mean, they're women's shoe. I think you can pull them off for sure.
Yeah, the last but not least, Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG Dark Mocha. They dropped this morning.
Those are, when you drop ones and you have, a pretty like straightforward colorway, you're always going to win. And Nike knows what it's doing.
So the NBA and NBA Players Association, they're going back and forth. The NBA could be looking at a 50-game season with January start. Hate it or love it?
Hate it because you want the full, NBA season. Love it because the players aren't just going for whatever the owners say to do. They're like we always say, they're wielding their power. I've heard multiple interviews this week of saying, LeBron James saying, "Hey man, if the season starts in December, I'm not gonna be there for the first month or so. Like,
Right.
My body needs rest. I'm not gonna do it." And I just kind of like it just because the players they're dictating like what they're trying to dictate
Which they should.
their play.
Yeah, and so there have been reports that are swirling that the players are pushing for a January 18th start to the 2020-21 NBA season. That could impact the schedule because, of course, the Olympics are in 2021. So these players are pushing for a later start in January to get more, like you said, rest time for next season. And I mean, they just got finished playing. But the thing about it is, and why there's pushback from the NBA, and the only reason why is because of money. It would greatly impact TV revenue.
Yeah, of course, that's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a money game. And the NBA wants to recoup some of that money that they lost this year due to COVID. And so they're willing to push, these guys back out on the court, risking their careers and, injury just to, make their money back. And I get it because the players also want to be out there to make that money. But at the same time, like, I believe that they really don't want to. They just came out of the bubble. It was a very tough situation where you were, inside the bubble, it seems like life was nice, but at the same time, you didn't get to see your family. You didn't get to leave the bubble. You were under like strict guidelines to stay in the bubble. And so I don't think players kind of want to, get back to that so soon. December is literally a month away. So I think that I would rather see them play less games. And I mean, honestly, at this point, who's really concerned about the Olympics in the NBA? Like, we have bigger fish to fry. So I think I like players.
All right, the Cowboys defensive coordinator Mike Nolan had to stop a call with reporters because he accidentally rubbed hot sauce in his eye. Hate it or love it.
I don't even know how to like when I said it in a meeting. I don't even know how to like just to react to that. Like,
let's see the video.
That obviously the frustration for him as well is just look, when he misses them, nobody. Whoops, excuse me, I got something in my eye. Just had some Tabasco on my finger and it went in my eye. That wasn't good. Oh, never good. It's terrible. Jeez. I'm sorry. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Cowboy season in one video right there. Just a bunch of hot sauce in the eye.
Crying shame, huh?
Crying shame. It's also funny because we're like really starting to lose focus as a people in like Zoom meetings. Like, you're starting to see people in interviews, professional interviews, get hot sauce in their eye or play spades during, or have a lot going on in the background. I think we're all just fed up with Zoom meetings. So this is just another one of those things. Like, where did you have hot sauce that you just got it in your eye?
Exactly. So yeah, he gets a
big dummy.
Rockets hired Mavericks assistant Silas as their head coach. So one of the top assistants to Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle. Silas signed a contract to become the new Houston Rockets head coach on Thursday. He replaces Mike D'Antoni, whose contract expired after the Rockets were eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. Hate it or love it.
Gots to love it. Stephen Silas, of course, is the son of Paul Silas, legendary NBA coach. So you love to see. He paid his dues, is what I like about this story. Is he's an assistant coach, scout for 21 years. He's been with, underneath Rick Carlisle. He's coached with a myriad of the elite coaches in the league. So I think he needs to take on this new challenge. And of course, young black man. So you love to see it. I think he'll do well. Honestly and truly, I think he'll do really well with the Rockets. He's a fit.
And also Mike D'Antoni, he joins the staff at Brooklyn Nets with Steve Nash. So he's moving on.
Mm-hmm. So good all around. I like when D'Antoni is in the league. I like when he's a coach. I think, he'll help Steve Nash a whole lot, actually, especially Steve Nash, this being his first coaching gig.
Jacksonville Jaguars running back Raquel Armstead still battling COVID-19, and he's expected to miss the rest of the season. So while most of the NFL players have recovered quickly from COVID, Jacksonville Jaguars running back Raquel has not. So Armstead has been hospitalized twice and has suffered from a variety of complications connected to the virus, including significant respiratory issues, and has been hit harder than some expected. Hate it or love it.
You hate it, but I'm going to need the NFL to take a really, really close look at this one, because I think the NFL kind of was playing on the side of, oh, these are young guys. They're healthy. I mean, they train every day. Their immune system should be high. The respiratory system should be very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at a guy right here who's a professional athlete, had to be hospitalized twice for this disease. So I think the NFL needs to take a closer look at this and like kind of, maybe implement some more precautions for these players. Like, I understand that you're not going to stop anybody from doing anything that they don't want to do as far as restrictions go, but I would definitely try to implement something that'll make it safer for the players, whatever that may be.
Exactly. I do agree. LA Dodgers manager Dave Roberts becomes just the second black manager to win a World Series. Hate it or love it.
Gots to love it. Gots to love it.
I love it.
I actually remember Dave Roberts, if I'm not mistaken, he used to play for the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a kid, I remember watching him. He was like, dang, he's a dang good baseball player. And I didn't even know he was actually the manager of the Dodgers until, earlier when the restart happened. So, of course, shouts out to him. He's only the second one to win a World Series. So congrats.
Congratulations also. All right. So this story is one of those where I'm just like, man, it's about time that something happens, with Tom Brady and he gets called out for something, because he can do no wrong in everyone's eyes. Brady gets called out for sharing false suicide COVID-19 death statistic on Instagram. The former Patriots quarterback and current Buccaneers QB shared an image to his Instagram story, which said there have been more suicide deaths than coronavirus deaths in the past 2 months. So wash your hands, wear your mask, but don't forget to be nice to people and look after yourself. Brady shared this message and concluded with adding the word truth to the post. Hate it or love it?
Hate it, because here we go again with the false information. That these athletes sometimes put out. Like, nobody really, who really knows what truth is, quote unquote, these days, because there's so many media and news outlets that can literally just report anything, and nobody knows what it'll actually be the truth or not. But as far as Tom Brady, he was wrong. He was just wrong. He got some bad information, like Q likes to say. He just got some bad information and decided to throw a little post out there. But he's got to do a little better. Got to do a little better.
So the fact-checking website PolitiFact noted that about 4,000 people die every month from suicide. It also noted that in June, more than 19,000 people died from the coronavirus, and nearly 22,000 people died from COVID-19 in the past 30 days. So,
come on, Tom, just do a little better, or not even. If you want to post a message about mental health and staying afloat during this pandemic, of course, by all means. I don't think you should bring in coronavirus into that. It's not a good look.
Exactly. All right. Eric Reed declines offer to join the Washington football practice squad. Hate it or love it?
Who wants to join that dumpster fire of an organization anyway? They don't even have a name yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, just to me, and what Reed told Rod Mahdi of the Associated Press, that he declined to offer to join the Washington practice squad. He said, "I just don't think the plan on the practice squad is reflective or indicative of my career." He told Mahdi. Reed's 28. Of course, he played for Coach Washington's now Washington coach Ron Rivera back in Carolina in 2018, 2019. He said, "I'm just not in a place to play on the practice squad right now. If they go a different direction, I'll be ready."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. If that, I mean, that's his decision. I mean, he feels he's worth more than that, and I understand. So, I mean, we just saw Dez. He got signed to the practice squad with the Ravens.
Exactly.
But Dez also, he hasn't played in, what is that? It's been 2 or 3 years that he hasn't been on a football field. So I think he's just looking for any opportunity to show what he can do. But,
I mean, you look at Dez going to the practice squad, but I mean, at some point, you got to just say, hey, do you want to play football or do you not want to play football? I mean, he's not going to be on the practice squad for more than a game. I feel like you have a guy that's proven. Of course, Ron Rivera has seen him play. He was his coach for 2 years. So I don't feel like if it was me, I would have taken the gig. And that's just me, you know. I mean, of course, he's gonna do what he wants to do and what he feels like is best for him and his family. But you know, he just feels like it just makes him overqualified. But if it was me, I would definitely be like, hey, I'm gonna play.
Yeah, of course. If you want to play, you're going to figure out any situation you can get your hands on to play. So.
Yeah, so wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins offers reason for flipping off Trump supporters. Hate it or love it.
I'm going to love it because of what you're about to say next.
Let's hear from D Hop.
Obviously, yesterday made a lot of headlines, which, you know, it's the world, it's the internet. You know, anything you do now, especially in my shoes, is going to be publicized. You know, driving on the highway, I guess I got in between a train or, you know, a bunch of cars that I wasn't supposed to be in between in my car. And, you know, they was honking the horn at me and stuff like that, I guess, to tell me to get out of their way. And, you know, I didn't. And the guy in front of me stepped on his brakes and, you know, tried to stop dead in traffic. And I got around him and I stuck him a birdie. I really, you know, was about to stick, you know, do the peace sign to him, but this finger right here was kind of hurting, so it ain't make it up in time. But yeah, man, you know.
It is what it is, man.
Mm-hmm.
At least he wasn't gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing, and he's like, "Look, I don't like what you got going right here, so I'm gonna, you know, do an international, you know, hand sign, but I'm not gonna complete it. Like, I'm gonna do half of it, so you know that I mean something else."
Yeah. All right. Tyreek Hill says he can't make DK Metcalf play because Patrick Mahomes never throws interceptions. Hate it or love it.
I mean, can you blame him? I mean.
Let's hear what Tyreek had to say.
Baby, what you mean? Of course they gonna come to the head dog. I'm the cheetah, baby. But back to the DK Metcalf play. That was a real nice play. But unfortunately for me, I would never be able to like showcase that because Patrick, he never throws interceptions. So there you have it.
There it is. Now I hope he doesn't jinx Pat. You know, I really do. You know, he made a strong statement right there, but I just hope he doesn't jinx him.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the thing of when you got the guy at the free throw line and he'd be like, oh, yeah, man, he's made 25 free throws in a row. As soon as he says something, it clanks off.
Exactly, man. Exactly. One more for you, and we wanted to talk about this real quick. Sierra and Russell Wilson. So Sierra Russell Wilson put up 1.75 to fund Seattle area charter school. Hate it or love it.
You gotta love it. You always love when these athletes and these celebrities do the right thing, which the right thing is, you know, help people who don't have it. You have it, they don't have it, and you love to see that they're willing to, you know, give their time and money to support these people who may not have the advantages that they have. So you love to see it.
Exactly. One more, Trevor Lawrence. He's tested positive for COVID-19. You think he should sit out the rest of the season or keep going?
I mean, if the Jets are going to draft him, you might want to consider, other options. So,
as always, we appreciate everyone who hangs out with us every week, whether you're watching us on one of our social media live shows or you're listening to us 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio. Noah, what do you have going for the rest of the day? Gonna go get you some trick or treat candy?
Oh man, I have no kids I can borrow to go trick or treating. I mean, you want to lend me Peyton?
Yeah. You gotta dress up though. You gotta have something cool. You gotta wear something cool. No, come on.
I'll find something in Walmart, I guess.
Walmart of all places?
Yeah. I guess I'll do it just because you asked me to.
All right. We also want to remind you, as Tyra Matthews says, flex your freedom. Get out and vote. We're not telling you who to vote for, but make sure you go out and make your voice be heard. Remember, get out and vote. Today's Halloween. Monday, Tuesday, it's a day to vote. Go vote. Get out and vote. Flex your freedom. Until next week, we are out.